12-time Oscar-nominated actor, writer and director who starred in some of the world's most iconic films. And he is an acting comedy legend who is 1/3 of the world's favourite ever podcast. Their new film, Is This Thing On?, is out on the 30th of January. So let's get set for the super duper Will Arnett and Bradley Cooper!
I know. Welcome to morning radio. What a surprise, guys, eh?
Hey.
I mean, what a intro.
We just see like the top of his head.
Yeah, sorry about that, Bradley. It's probably the best bit, to be honest. You don't want to see any more. So the thing is, guys, is this what happens beyond a bromance? Because you are now well beyond a bromance. You get pregnant and you give birth to a movie. Is that where we are?
I mean, that's an interesting way to describe it.
I hadn't really thought of it that way, but sure, we'll go with it.
Whose fault is this one?
I think it's might be mine.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
I just sort of needled my way into this project, so yeah.
So, Will, it all began with you. You were writing something. He said, can I have a look at it? He's had a couple of lucky breaks with his first two directorial outings, and he wants a bit of this now. Is that basically what happened?
Yeah, I mean, to call it a lucky break, I guess, is putting it.
I like it.
It's not bad. Yeah. I mean, when you have a friend like Bradley and he says that he's gonna, look at your script to give you some notes, and he's made two incredible films. That in and of itself would have been amazing for me. But the fact that he actually said, hey, listen, this is something that I think could be even better, and let me come and join, was just an unbelievable gift.
How does it work? Is he reading something or writing something? You're looking over his shoulder? Is it on an email somewhere? Is it a dinner party?
No, nothing that fancy. I think I was like in a towel, just got out of the shower, calling him, and I was on a break from shooting a movie. And we were just catching up. I mean, it was completely casual. And I just happened to ask him what he's working on. And he started to talk about John Bishop and his life story, and that he got inspired by that. And he and Mark Chappell were writing this thing about a guy who begrudgingly like becomes a stand-up comic. And I just said, whoa. And I just got very excited about the idea of Will just being on stage. That was the initial thing, doing stand-up comedy. He's always been the funniest guy in the room, but he's never done stand-up comedy. And I was intrigued. And then I asked to read it, where they were with it, and I just couldn't get it out of my mind. And then I just said to Will, I talked about certain sort of cinematic potential aspects of the movie. And then I said, do you think that I could come in with you and maybe direct it? And can we work on, what the story could be? And it just sort of went from there, and it all happened really fast, actually.
Yeah, really, really fast. In fact, I was waiting for him to kind of call back and say like, hey, you guys should think about doing this, this, and this. And then he FaceTimed me from home, and I think you were almost in a towel. You were like in a T-shirt and like shorts.
In my mind, I was in a towel.
In your mind, you're always in a towel.
Yeah, always. Well, depending on it.
In lots of people's minds, you're always in a towel. But anyway, that's a different story. So, Will, what happens next? I mean, I suppose when Cooper says he wants in, it doesn't hinder the project, does it?
No, well, what was funny was that he asked if I'd be okay with it, which was, a pretty hilarious way to put it, because I was like, yeah, of course. You know what I mean? And it immediately elevates it.
But I think the truth is we didn't really know what we were getting involved in. Like, it's become such an incredible experience. We've been dear friends, but the friendship we have now is so much deeper. Yeah. In the last year and a half, what we've been through together. There's something about doing something, especially this movie, where we were just brutally honest with each other about how to tell the story and wanting it to be authentic, and really trying to make a movie about relationships that, it was risky. The structure of the movie is risky in the sense that you don't know that much about the backstory of these characters. You're just sort of watching them exist in their current state, which is they just broke up. And it was something that was terrifying, but because of that, really exciting.
And also, like, these are people who are vulnerable, not just vulnerable because he's never done stand-up before, and that's scary in and of itself. But they're also vulnerable in this place in their marriage that's falling apart, this new place. And so in order to do that in a way that's authentic, we had to be really vulnerable and honest with each other, and Laura Dern's part of that as well, in this way that I don't think, certainly I had never experienced before. So it was a very yeah, it was a real deep dive.
All coming from John Bishop. That was the great thing. Like, we were really trying to just serve the authenticity of the way he's talked about he and Melanie, his wife's experience, so that we had a great sort of primary source material to be inspired by.
Yeah, it's so interesting, isn't it? Because it's two different cells. It's one cell on your side of the Atlantic and another cell on ours, because obviously we all know John Bishop is one of the most famous people and most loved comics in the UK. And not only that, he did this big run, which you know about, for children in need. He raised millions and millions of pounds. I've never met anybody who doesn't like John Bishop. So you talk about him here, it's a sort of 50-50 convo about the movie and him. Over in the States, it's a standalone kind of thing. Has that been an interesting sort of tightrope to walk?
Well, I was just going to say that, being here these last couple of days with John, it's like, I wish he was with us in America for so much of the promotion of the movie, because it really just, it brings it all together.
Yeah, it does. It sort of, it brings it to a fine point, because John, he can be there, and he is that, as Bradley says, the source material, the inspiration, and he can tell a part of the story that we can't really tell. The sort of the truth that's at the very core of it.
He can also get you free tickets to the Liverpool games.
Yes, he can. Luckily, we went I say luckily. If you're a Liverpool supporter, it wasn't great, but it was a really kind of cool full circle moment to be back there at Liverpool, at Anfield, with John Bishop after all this time, after all these years, having made this movie and sat next to him at Anfield watching Liverpool play. I got to say, it was really, as we say in America, really trippy.
All right, so the movie is this thing on. It's out a week on Friday. So Friday, 30th of March here in the UK. It's got amazing reviews already. 5 stars, Rolling Stone. Amazing reviews. Who got the call? Who made the call in the movie for your character, Will, Alex, to be able to wear the cut-off Liverpool top?
I mean, that's the great thing about sort of originating the idea and seeing it through, is it was just sort of a discussion between the two of us.
Yeah, I mean, that's my shirt.
I suspected it might be.
Yeah, it's my workout shirt. That's why, I don't often go around and cut off sleeves, right? Do I? Not a lot.
No. Well, I don't see you in those areas, but I hear it on Smartless that you always seem to have it cut off, right?
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Isn't that
the most is Charlie, the dog, flushing the toilet in the bathroom. That was the biggest sign of our power.
Bradley's dog, both of his dogs are in the film. Well, 2 of his dogs, he's got a lot. 2 of his dogs are in the film, and there's a scene that that you can see in the film where the dog comes out of the toilet, and then you just immediately, right before he comes out, you hear the toilet flush, and Bradley was playing it down for the studio the last time, in the mix, sort of, so that it was their last chance to have notes on it. And then one of them mentioned, they said, did we hear the toilet flush and then the dog come out of the bathroom? And Bradley brilliantly was like, Did it? Did we? Did it? And then they never mentioned it again, so it just stayed in the film.
You've mentioned Smartless there, and we've got to mention Smartless. Of course, Bradley, you graced Smartless as their 100th guest on their 100th episode. I heard it back in the day, and I listened to it again last night. It's a great episode. Dan from Knutsford says here, via our WhatsApp, we're live on the air at the moment, guys, in case you didn't know. I'm a huge fan of Smartless podcast. I've listened to the episode with Bradley as a guest. It was a genuinely interesting discussion where Bradley was open, honest, and authentic. In amongst it, there was a reference to a life course correct that Will provided Bradley early in his career when he was potentially going off the rails. He claims this intervention saved his life. It was a truly emotional and touching discussion. You say you're even closer now after making this movie, but you were pretty close to start with. And Bradley comes in on a project like this, it adds more heat. You have your podcast, Will, which we all love here. It's our favourite podcast. Is that now, do you think that podcast is now going to get people to your movies as well? Because it's all good. It's like a 360 thing going on here.
Well, I mean, let's hope so. I don't know. None of it's by design. I wish I could say that there was a big plan, but hopefully people who enjoy the podcast will hear us, heard us talking about it, and just out of interest sake will go and see it for sure.
And Sean and Scotty, Sean Hayes and his partner, Scotty, are in the film. I didn't know that was Scotty. I just hoped it was Scotty. For people who don't know, why might fans like me think that was just a home video of those guys at the fridge in the middle of the night?
Because that it could have been.
That was Bradley. That was Bradley's baby. Bradley's like, you guys are just in the kitchen, rifling through food late at night. I think you've got this one, you know.
And that is what they do. When did Laura Dern come on board? How did that happen? Who made that call?
Luckily, it was while we were rewriting. So the best thing is when you're able to write for an actor. So we really had an advantage of being able to write for Will and write for Laura. I've known her for over 10 years, and I just kept seeing the Tess character as somebody who's already come down from a summit, whereas our lead character is discovering a summit for the first time in stand-up comedy. And she's just, I felt like I would believe that she's an Olympic athlete. She's tall, she's got broad shoulders. And I was just like, and she's an incredible actor. And I just thought, and I liked the two of them together. So I was just talking to her about it and, hoping that maybe she would do it. And she signed on before we wrote it, her stuff. So it was wonderful to be able to go through that process with her, because she's also a great writer, a wonderful mind, and she just added a whole new element. The truth is, like, we really had a movie once she signed on.
What did Laura bring out in you, Will, where you'd been maybe not so fearful, or maybe fearful to go before, or not confident enough? What does she do to you as an actor when you're that close with her and there's that trust between you two?
Well, yeah, when you work with somebody like Laura Dern, I mean, she's at the, she's the top of the top. She's one of the greats, and she brings such a sort of she's such a grounding presence. She's so present in there, and as an actor, to have somebody when you're working, it's like the old analogy of like playing tennis with a pro is going to make you better. Playing with somebody like her, who's so available and so working at the top of their game, it just. There's me, who spent a lifetime sort of goofing around and doing a lot of, crazy stuff. And then, all of a sudden I'm working with the Academy Award-winning Laura Dern. I think that, she just helps elevate all boats. Do you know what I mean?
But I will say, from being able to watch the two of them, the great thing about this art form is you're always starting at zero. So no matter what you've ever done in the past, I always felt like it was just two people equally fearful, equally vulnerable, having to, be on this life raft together. I mean, is that what it felt like? Because it really felt like you were both coming at it at the same place.
Well, for sure. And, the subject matter, the film, as the film's not about stand-up comedy, really. That is there as one big element of it, but it's not about stand-up. It is about this relationship. So what was great was that Laura and I, as Bradley say, could start at zero and in every moment and really sort of build that together and try to, understand this, get into the story of these two people who are trying to reconnect with themselves and each other at the same time. But it is good to have somebody who can, who can hit it back to you in a way that's amazing, or play with you in a way and I say play, I mean, be there, be present, be absolutely committed to whatever that moment is.
Bradley, how do you put yourself in the film? Because I know that one of your friends, you said to one of your friends, what do you think of my character in the film? And he said, well, basically, it's you. Is that true? First, for people who don't know.
Yeah, Matt Burke.
Yeah,
Matt Burke.
Tell us about him.
About Matt Burke?
Yes.
Matt Burke grew up in Connecticut.
No, I do remember Bradley, and Bradley was like, I think I should play balls. And we're like, yeah, like there was no, it was like, yeah, of course you should.
Yeah, I think the thing that I share with Balls is it almost seems too much, but I do love like a lot of things, and maybe I'm a little effusive about it.
Well, onesies, you love onesies.
that came from Balls. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other good thing is that of course that Alex and Balls have this close relationship. They've known each other forever, and that was something that we did not have to manufacture in the film because we have been friends for so long.
And we shot the movie in such a short time span, and for no question, the scenes that we had together, we shot so fast.
We did. We never talked about them. We never rehearsed. I mean, you have to keep in mind, at this time last year, we hadn't started shooting yet.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. And there's a point where, because he's a struggling actor, or he's a jobbing actor, isn't he? Your character Bradley, and he comes back, and things have taken a turn for the better, and he's stolen a leather hat from the sitcom or whatever it is he's on. And in that moment, I thought, oh, you look like a really cool sort of. I know there's the sexy rabbi or whatever he's called at the moment, but you look like like a sort of Woodstock rabbi. I thought there's a character waiting to happen.
Yeah, that's the hat that I wore in A Star Is Born, because it's so hard to find a hat that fits right. So I remember I was like, I'm gonna wear Jackson Maine's hat.
If the hat fits, steal it.
Yeah.
You two have been friends for ages. Forever. You've both been sober forever. Bradley, I don't know if you probably don't remember this, but I once cornered you at a party about your sobriety, and because I was thinking about it as well. And I gave you a good listening, and you were so helpful. And since then, I have become sober. So thank you for that.
Wow.
And I really appreciate it. And I just wonder, will my hair get any younger and more vibrant? Because is that what it is? If you stop drinking, do you get great hair? You've all got. Sean's got. I know Sean still hits the McFlurry and all that, but Bateman's got great hair as well. He's sober. Is it a sober thing? Is that what I've got coming?
It is. If you get sober, your hair grows like a weed.
Yeah. Google it. Yeah, it's incredible. I do think you get overall. You do get a little healthier. There's
no doubt about that.
Yeah. Right. You're not putting poison in your body. Right.
Yeah, there is all that going on. Well, congratulations on your continuing sobriety. As far as the stand-up itself is concerned, Will, you are hilarious. You're so funny on Smartless. The three of you are hilarious on Smartless anyway. And by the way, we play clips from it all the time on the show, and we never ask.
Do you?
We never ask permission, so please don't.
My God! I didn't. Here's like a new windfall for me.
Yeah, no. I'm happy to see you on screen. I don't want to see you in court though, if that's all right.
Virgin has a lot of money. This is good.
No, Richard Branson has a lot of money. It's entirely different. But we play that all the time. And we absolutely adore it. Bradley, when you went on Smartless for the 100th episode, it was a big deal. You were great on it, as I've alluded to before. How does that work? Does he call you? Did the other guys want you and you had to put them off and pretend that you weren't interested because you were waiting to keep your powder dry for Will?
I'm trying to remember how it happened.
Yeah. I don't,
because I like you. I'm an avid listener, and because I wasn't promoting anything. It was I just came on.
Yeah. No, I think that we knew that we were doing the 100th episode. I asked you,
right,
knowing that we were doing the 100th.
I know I was very excited because you don't. It's one of the podcasts that you can't actually see, right? It's just audio. And so I was always curious about how that worked with the paper above the computer and then seeing all the guys and it's interesting that what they do, that 20 minutes where you're just waiting, watching them talk. It's a very interesting sort of purgatory that you put the guests in.
Yeah. We try not to make it 20 minutes because we understand that there is fatigue of us. So, but since then Bradley's become sort of a regular, as you know, if you listen to the show. He came and graced the stage when we were on tour, live show.
I popped on,
and then you popped on a couple of weeks ago when we were on, and we talk about him all the time. And he is one of the. There are a few regulars, as you know, Chris. There's also Mark Chappell, aka Chappie, who wrote this film with us, who is also a regular. When his name gets mentioned, he's never actually been on the show, and he was telling.
How many episodes have you done now?
250, 300, something like that. Wow. And Chappie recently was telling me he was at a meeting with somebody else, and another person came down because she said that she wanted to meet Chappie
from the podcast.
It's always about the sidekick, no doubt about that. And it's the opposite of the movies, isn't it? Because we just had Emily Watson on the show today, who's in Hamlet, which is just off the chain, isn't it?
Incredible.
Incredible film, an incredible actress, and she's
incredible in it.
She was at a party last night with Paul Mescal, and she said that her appearance live on the show today was part of her walk of shame home this morning. After she's literally on her way home still, which was amazing. But I said to her, and you know this better than you two know this better than anybody else, that when a movie gets made, it is a miracle. It's not a metaphor. It is actually a miracle, isn't it? And your podcast is the opposite. So you are at the two extremes, aren't you, of this crazy world?
I know. You mean that it's a miracle that it's on, or it's
No,
it's so easy to make?
It's just so I mean, you make it easy, and it's all the nicer for it, to be honest.
Well, it's just one of those things that yeah, it is. It is. I think people hear people talk about making a film and how hard it is, and they go, how hard can it be? You've got all these people and there's all this money. It truly is a miracle that anything ever gets made. A. But B, Smartless was one of those things that just happened at a time. Obviously, we started it during lockdown, and it was just one of those things that every once in a while something just kind of works out.
All right, listen, we're on time now. We're bang on time. Thank you both for joining us. The film is great. I love you both. You're both amazing. If you can ever come and see us live, please do. If not,
yeah, we'd love to.
Thank you guys. Have a great day. I know you got a busy day. That is Bradley Cooper and Will Arnett. Is this thing on? Is in cinemas this Friday, Friday the 30th.